Governor Tony Evers is rolling out his plans to expand health care for Wisconsin women, which includes more money for organizations like Planned Parenthood.
And the National Weather Service says when all of the snow finally melts, Wisconsin could be at a historically high threat for flooding.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on a Friday morning. It is February 22nd. Made it to the end of the week. There's some sunshine on the way.
Yes.
But the weekend,
Not so much.
not so
Just
much.
tunnel
Not so
vision
much.
for Friday.
I know.
right?
Seriously.
It's like trying to take in that sun.
That's rare that we're hanging out
Seriously.
to the week instead of heading straight to the weekend.
I know, you're right. Well, we do have a pretty nice forecast coming up today. Sunshine in the area and mild temperatures as well. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Love the fact that I can show these cameras and we
beautiful
actually
shot.
see something early in the morning. We have mostly clear skies here in Madison this morning. It is a little cold though. There's some light snow showing up on the radar map, but that is not hitting the ground. It's evaporating before it actually hits the ground. So no precipitation through the day today. That comes overnight tonight. It's cold outside and boy, we're down 4 degrees from last hour, down to 7 here in Madison, 6 in the Dells, 7 in Watertown. Significantly warmer with maybe a bit more cloud cover to the south. Temperatures are closer to 20 degrees. We'll see a nice warm up though this morning to highs in the low to mid 30s this afternoon. Above the freezing point, so we'll see some melting with that sunshine as well. Here's a look at your News 3 Now First Alert traffic maps this morning at 6 o'clock. Things are still pretty quiet. The usual crowds starting to show up at the Beltline and Stoughton Road, but no issues to report. Looks like you're traveling at posted speeds heading into Madison as well. No accidents in the surrounding communities.
I find with this weather lately, I'm just taking it one day at a time. The sunshine, we're getting that earlier sunlight. Just gotta
Yes.
take it all in.
Yes. Tune in to the main weather forecast because I'll have all the details on that weekend storm.
All right, Hattie, thank you.
You're welcome.
So as Hattie mentioned, and she'll let us know in her full forecast, the ice and snow this weekend will add to whatever is already piled up out there.
It has something ahead to the next weather-related issue, flooding. The new data from the National Weather Service shows we are at historically high conditions primed for flooding once it all melts. Justin Palmer, a hydrologist for the service, says that's due to our wet fall, deep frost, and big snowpack.
We're looking at conditions going into this spring, this melt season that are historically high as far as water on the ground and in the river systems.
This flooding from snowmelt is not a guarantee, but an indicator of what could happen if we see a fast melt and more rain. The National Weather Service says this is a good time to check your insurance policies and make sure you're covered for flooding if you live in an area prone to that. And some residents in Rock County are thinking along the same lines. Evansville's director of municipal services says he's received multiple calls of residents expressing their concerns about potential flooding due to snow buildup around drain inlets. He wants to remind residents that it is the city's responsibility to clear out that snow and that they're working on it. But if you need help removing the snow in the meantime, anyone can call the city to request that removal.
At the state capitol this morning, we will learn exactly what Governor Evers wants to invest in when he releases his first state budget proposal next Thursday. What we do know now is that plan will include nearly $28 million to expand access to a variety of health programs. The governor's Healthy Women, Healthy Babies initiative focuses on boosting postpartum coverage for mothers insured by Medicaid and increasing grants to address health disparities. That would include Planned Parenthood funding.
Republicans are not going to put one more nickel into Planned Parenthood than we do right now. We have done everything we can to try to make sure that we protect human life.
Planned Parenthood officials say the state money would not go toward abortion services. Now, the State Journal reports, you just heard from their Republican Speaker Robin Vos, and the paper says that he is saying there are, quote, lots of poison pills in the governor's budget that will discourage the majority from supporting it.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin's neighbor to the south is set to become the first Midwestern state with a $15 minimum wage. Their governor signed a bill this week making that happen by 2025. Illinois workers have been at $8.25 an hour since 2010. Wisconsin's minimum wage is currently $7.25 an hour. Governor Tony Evers is expected to include a minimum wage increase in his budget proposal we just mentioned. He told reporters this week the amount is still under consideration.
We will not get to 15 by the end of this first 2 years in office. So we'll be making some steps to make sure that we can get there.
Critics say a wage increase could force businesses to lay off workers and hire less, but Evers says he believes he can make the change without hurting the business community. He'd like to see the state gradually increase wages to compensate for inflation.
Assembly Republicans are also proposing a $3.7 million plan to combat homelessness in Wisconsin. That includes spending $500,000 on a prevention program and $300,000 to help people find stable housing. Nearly $1 million would go toward a housing assistance program, and $500,000 would fund grants for shelters. Bills to fight homelessness passed last session with bipartisan support. According to national statistics, nearly 5,000 Wisconsinites experienced homelessness last year. Hundreds were considered to be chronically homeless. 6:05 right now, and from kids eating Tide Pods and teens driving blindfolded, there's now a new challenge making its rounds on social media.
Yeah, it's called the 48-hour challenge, and although it isn't widespread in our area yet, the sheriff's department is concerned it could be soon catching on. Christina Laurie talked to officials and joins us with some of those dangers, and this is really scary, Christina.
Yeah. It is. It's just the latest fad catching on among teens on social media. The 48-hour challenge is yet another reason why parents need to make sure they know what their kids are doing online and off at all times. This challenge encourages teens to go missing for up to 2 days at a time and awards points for every social media mention they get while they're quote-unquote missing. Officials say it's never a good idea to assume your son or daughter knows better than to involve themselves in challenges like this. Some teens are doing it for social media attention. Others are doing it off of a dare or just for the thrill of it. The Dane County Sheriff's Department is concerned because they take every missing persons report seriously.
The sheriff's office, when somebody's reported missing, especially a juvenile, we put every resource we have into searching for that person. If it's not a legitimate situation, then we're using a lot of resources that could be used elsewhere.
Another concern law enforcement has is where these kids are going during the 48 hours they're quote-unquote missing. They could be putting themselves or others in danger during that time period or just causing trouble. Officials we talked to say the main concern is that because this is spreading on social media, if it comes to the Madison area, it could spread rather quickly, like other fads did, Bird Box Challenge, Tide Pod Challenge. It's a lot of dumb ones out there.
It is, and it's amazing how fast this stuff goes. It just doesn't take long. And
yeah, and for all the parents out there, it's really hard to keep up with everything.
And what really stuck with me is they said never assume your son or daughter is above this,
right?
Because you might think you know what's going on, but in social media, people can be easily influenced.
And we're always on our phones, so it's hard to know. All right, Christina, thank you.
You're welcome.
Snow, rain, ice, we're going to see a little bit of everything this weekend. Hattie will tell us when the next round of winter weather is going to roll in.
And with a forecast like that, it might be a good weekend to stay inside and catch a movie with the family. It sounds pretty good to me. Or maybe learn how to train a dragon. Will Loper joins us next with a preview of what's flying into theaters this weekend. This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the patio. This morning things are pretty quiet, but it's cold outside. As expected, temperatures have dropped into the single digits in many locations. But let's talk about this storm for the weekend and get you up to date on all the latest forecast changes that have happened over the last 24 hours. Alert days are still in the forecast for this weekend. On Saturday, it's due to the potential for some ice accumulation. And again, the models have been up and down with the ice accumulation for the area, but there could be up to a quarter of an inch in some spots. Now, the ice is not going to last long, though. As temperatures climb, the ice will melt. The rain will help that as well. But due to that potential for some ice early tomorrow, the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for those counties shaded in purple. That does include most of southern Wisconsin. Now, here's a look at the radar map this morning. If you're pulling it up on your phone, you may notice that there is some snow showing up overhead. However, it's not actually hitting the ground. It's evaporating before it reaches the lower levels of the atmosphere. So no precipitation today. We have a couple of waves of energy. The first one in Kansas and Nebraska this morning. That will bring us the potential for some freezing rain overnight into early Saturday morning. And then the main storm is actually back in the desert southwest in Arizona this morning. You can see some rain and snow there. Don't often think of snow in the desert, but it is snowing in parts of Arizona this morning. So back to the upper Midwest, and here's what you can expect from this particular storm. As far as ice accumulations, there will likely be some light ice accumulating early Saturday morning. But again, that melts as temperatures climb to near 40 for highs. We're talking rain after that, and especially through Saturday evening, there could be some pretty heavy rain. You may even hear a few rumbles of thunder. Although no severe weather is expected, not out of the question that we could hear some thunder on Saturday night. It then transitions to some snow as colder air works its way into the area, but most of the heavy snow looks like it's going to be locked up north through central and northern Wisconsin, where a band of pretty heavy snow is likely from this system. Our snow amounts should be pretty minimal. The main impacts for us on Sunday will be those strong winds. Now, here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam of our beautiful capital this morning. No issues with fog early today, but it is cold. 7 in Madison, 6 in the Dells, a little bit more cloud cover to the west, keeping temperatures in the teens to low 20s. Winds are not a factor, though, today, so we're not looking at any wind chill. Our future track forecast map through the day today has sunshine in the area and light winds. A pretty rapid warm-up as well, with temperatures climbing to highs in the low to mid-30s this afternoon. Enjoy the warmth. Clouds roll back in tonight, and then by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be a messy mix across the area. Roads could be slippery early Saturday. Rain pushes in. There might be a little bit of a break through the midday hours where we see just some drizzle and fog, and then the rain returns Saturday evening where it could be heavy at times. There will be a little snow on the backside of the system, but again, most of the energy from the storm out of here before it gets cold enough for us to see snow. Our forecast after this storm system calls for much colder conditions. In fact, looking ahead to next weekend, looks pretty darn cold around here with highs only in the teens and those wind chills again in the 10 to 25 below range. Here's a look at your traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it is a quiet start on the Beltline this morning, so that's great news for the early commuters. No delays to worry about yet in either direction. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. Just a few of the usual brake lights on northbound Verona Road and Stoughton Road approaching the Beltline. No delays showing up downtown around campus. Look for things to pick up over the next hour or so. And on the main routes heading into the city, they're cruising along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh. And of course, thank you, Hattie. All right, the third installment of a kid-friendly trilogy flies into theaters this weekend, one that's earned glowing reviews and millions at the box office.
Yeah, it's already taught us how to train our winged mythical creatures. And here to preview How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is our film critic, Will Loper. Good morning, Will.
Hey, good morning. I don't know how many more tips these movies can possibly give to you about how to train your dragon, except I have noticed they haven't covered clipping dragon toenails yet, so I'm pretty sure that's probably the plot of this movie.
Oh my God, he's not the only one.
She's a light fury.
Oh, sorry.
Did she just disappear?
It's a hidden dragon world.
Hiccup and Toothless race against bad guys to discover and protect a hidden world of dragons.
I've hunted every Night Fury except yours. Hand him over.
I will never give him up.
Then I will destroy everything you love.
How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is rated PG.
He just did the angels in the outfield.
Yeah, that's the flirting method of dragons, apparently.
Yeah.
And you guys, I just learned, have not seen either of the first two.
I know. And
Whoops.
apparently that is sinful, according to Will's reaction.
The first one is excellent. The second one goes to some pretty dark places that surprised me, so I'm hoping this one's a little lighter.
Yeah. And
But-
is this the last one? And because we don't know much about this, is this the last one in the three?
They're saying it's the final installment, but the director's like, I'm ready to go for a fourth.
Yeah.
So if it makes money, they'll be making more.
Sounds like this will be the weekend to maybe catch up on all these.
Seriously, with the weather and everything. So you'll have this one and the wrestling movie Monday?
Fine with my family, that's right.
There you
All
go.
right. Well, thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, the sun comes up right around 6:45 this morning. Not only is that 5 minutes earlier than this time last week, but we will actually be able to see it out there today.
Yes.
Hattie's got a pleasant end to the week and a weekend that's, well, less pleasant. That's coming up.
Do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, I
If
know.
it's any consolation, we aren't alone. Snow in San Diego, Arizona, and Vegas is just part of the wild weather across the country. Chris will join us to break it all down when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We're talking colder temperatures this morning. Up and outside, it's pretty chilly. Temperatures are almost 10 degrees colder here in Madison, almost 15 degrees colder to the north and east of town. So bundle up as you head out the door early today. Take a look at our actual air temperatures. 7 here in Madison, 7 in Watertown, down to 4 in Juneau, 8 in the Dells. It is noticeably warmer with a little bit of cloud cover to the south and west, where temperatures are at least in the double digits. No storms moving through the area today, so no worries about getting to or from school. That storm hits for the weekend, so administrators probably very happy on the timing on that one. Temperatures will climb into the mid-30s this afternoon with partly sunny skies.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. So while we might be getting used to driving in slick conditions, that does not seem to be the case in San Diego. They saw a little bit of snow and ice as part of this latest winter storm. Caused schools to be canceled yesterday and plenty of cars to slide off the road. The CBS affiliate out there calls for the overnight temperatures as frigid in the 40s. They expect a slight warm up into the upper 50s today. But look at, I mean, that's not messing around. And we say it all the time that some of this lighter amount of snow can cause a lot more issues for people because they're just not ready.
That's true.
Right, yeah. So you'll have to forgive us that we're not feeling a lot of sympathy for the folks in San Diego, but that is part of the wild weather the entire country is about to see.
It's even been snowing in Las Vegas this week, of all places. So clearly we are not alone. And Chris, there could be more snow for the desert Southwest.
That's right, Josh. In fact, that is the hottest topic down south right now. It is the snow that's coming down. So this is the iconic Las Vegas sign and the snowflakes falling. They received a record half-inch of snow just a couple days ago, and they've really seen snow for about the past 3 to 4 days in Las Vegas. And get this, there could actually be more snow on the way. In fact, there are winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings still in place for much of the Las Vegas area. So if we can jump on over to Max, I'll go ahead and show you guys where we are seeing a lot of those. We see those watches and warnings really through the upper Midwest, but let's go down to the desert Southwest. Las Vegas in the last hour actually removed from those winter weather advisories, but we do still have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories throughout the Four Corners, Arizona, and into New Mexico as well. We jump over towards the southeast. Flood warnings, flash flood watches, flash flood warnings are in play there as well. And then, of course, in the upper Midwest, we do have winter storm watches that I do believe could become blizzard warnings as we go through time. And again, as we focus down south where a lot of that heaviest rain is, that's also where we do have a threat for some severe weather. And outside of this, we could see thunder as far north as here in south central Wisconsin as well. But under some of those same areas that are going to get the tornadoes and the damaging winds this weekend, we are looking at a high risk of excessive rainfall and added flash flooding as if they have not had enough already this week. That'll move north into Kentucky as we head from Saturday and then into Sunday. But we've got a very powerful jet stream that has been rocking and rolling, reaching record speeds of upwards of 257 miles per hour. But it has a connection that goes all the way to the tropical Pacific. We call this the Pineapple Express. It moves a lot of moisture into the desert Southwest, then across the Bering Sea, several disturbances to move into the Pacific Northwest. And so that is going to keep our pattern busy. The only thing that can calm this pattern is a shot of cold air that does look to happen. And I'm not just talking a general shot of cold air. We're talking below zero temperatures possible in March. This is the temperature outlook for the first week of March, and that purple is not our friend. No.
I feel like our groundhog friends were wrong.
The groundhog is always wrong. That's just, you know.
Just trying to be positive.
The odds are against him. The odds are against
Every
him.
single time. But, I mean, I'll tell you what. Eventually, things will warm up.
It has to.
We just have to go through the fire or the ice chamber or whatever you want to call it right now. But it's going to be cold for a little bit, and we'll all be tougher after.
Okay.
Maybe by Easter.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
My pleasure.
6:25 right now. The latest social media challenge rewards teens who get attention online for dropping off the face of the earth. Parents, you'll want to hear why this one is worrying law enforcement.
And your students could be scanned with a metal detector soon before heading to homeroom. We'll tell you what Madison police are pitching to schools when News 3 Now This Morning continues. Right now, authorities want parents to be aware of the latest troubling trend online, which encourages kids to disappear for days at a time.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome back on this Friday, February 22nd, just before 6:30. We're going to be waking up with some sunshine, which is something I think we'd like to keep for a while.
Yeah, we would welcome even more of that. Unfortunately, Hattie is not going to be able to deliver in that department. Do not blame the messenger, right, Hads?
Yep, just the messenger, and we have today, so don't waste today. Today should actually be pretty nice. It's cold outside this morning, but the forecast calls for temperatures to warm significantly through the day. Let's take a live look this morning. We'll start in Platteville, where you see a few holes in the cloud cover, but a little bit more significant cloud cover there is actually keeping temperatures warmer in Platteville. Here's a look at Weather Track, which is satellite and radar combined. It does show those patchy clouds across the area, as well as a little bit of snow, but that snow is not hitting the ground. It's actually dissipating or evaporating before it reaches the ground level. So no precipitation in our forecast today. Those clouds keeping temperatures in the teens in Platteville, in fact, close to 20 degrees there. Significantly colder here in Madison. We're at 7. It's 18 in Janesville and 8 in the Dells. So all over the map temperature-wise this morning. We're all going to see a pretty nice warm-up, though, into the mid-30s this afternoon with partly sunny skies. Now let's get a look at those traffic maps this morning. Your News 3 Now First Alert traffic maps showing you that there are some delays on Stoughton Road, both north and south of the Beltline, but no major issues to report just yet if you are commuting early. No accidents either to slow you down as you head into Madison from the surrounding communities. And that's your First Alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. So before the kids head out on the bus this morning, this is maybe something you'll want to ask them about. They've probably heard about the latest fad spreading on social media.
It's called the 48-hour challenge, and we have a warning from local law enforcement this morning to parents. Christina Laurie is here now to explain some of those dangers. Christina, good morning.
Good morning. The Dane County Sheriff's Department says they haven't seen any cases in our area yet, but teens, they warn about this 48-hour challenge and its potential effects that are already alarming officers. The challenge encourages teens to go missing for up to 2 days at a time and awards points for every social media mention they get while they are missing. They say it's crucial parents pay attention to their kids' social media, know what they're on, and monitor that regularly. They say this is something you should talk to your kids about and not just assume your son or daughter knows better. Some teens are doing it for attention and social media notoriety. Others are doing it just off a dare or for the thrill of it.
We would hope that people wouldn't go to these lengths for attention or for a game, but it's obviously happened in other parts of the country, and we don't want it to start happening here.
The Sheriff's Department is especially concerned because they take every missing persons report seriously, especially when a juvenile is reported missing. They will investigate any case, so if you call them and something is not really wrong, you could be putting someone else in danger of not getting the help they need by straining those resources. There are a limited amount.
Of course.
Just add this to the list of dangers with social media right now. It's like every day there's something new out there.
We thought we couldn't get dumber than the Tide Pod challenge. I thought that was the low.
No, here we go. We'll see what's next, I guess. All right, Christina, thank you.
Madison students could soon be subjected to random metal detector screenings in school. The district is considering that after ongoing safety concerns and a shooting around La Follette High School last fall. Now, under the proposal, staff would be able to wand students down if they felt it was necessary. Madison police would be contacted if a weapon was found. The school board could adopt that proposal on Monday. A vocal group of parents, you may remember, have already protested police officers being stationed in the city's high schools, saying they disproportionately arrest minority students. Those supporting the metal detectors say they would not single out any particular student. Okay, and one of the more colorful police reports we've seen lately, Madison police say a pair of walkie-talkies, well-placed camera, and, quote, the jig was up. Corey Tornai, Caitlin Crotachwill, and Gina Corrado are being held on burglary charges this morning after detectives say they were trying to steal copper wire from a West Side construction site. Officers responded to Crestwood Lane around 11:30 Wednesday night. That's where alarms were going off at an apartment building that's under construction. The project manager was able to watch surveillance video and see a white van circling the site. At least one person was caught on camera going inside that gated area. Police found a woman hiding inside with a walkie-talkie and used that to get a hold of the two other suspects.
It is 6:33. Quick Trip is partnering with Dane County, becoming one of the primary dispensers of renewable vehicle fuel generated by the county landfill.
It's a great demonstration of when we come together and create partnerships, we can create a win-win for the environment and for the economy.
This is part of the county's biogas project. When it is completed later this year, the gases from trash and cow manure will be turned into renewable fuel that will be used to power a fleet of compressed natural gas vehicles. The county says this will ultimately cut down on thousands of tons of carbon emissions.
Parents, here's some good news. If your kids are a bit forgetful about their library books, libraries in the Sauk Prairie area are the latest to stop charging overdue fines. The Sauk Prairie Eagle reports starting next month, people visiting the entire system there will not be assessed fees for returning a book, a CD, or a DVD after the due date. It's part of a bigger movement to get more people into public libraries. According to the paper, overdue fees only accounted for 0.5% of the library system's overall budget. Branches in places like Fitchburg, Verona, and Monona are already fine-free. 6:34 right now, and some former Packers will soon be suiting up to get people pumped for a new coach and a new season. We'll tell you how you can score your tailgate tickets after the break.
And a former Badger who left the sport he loved due to concussion concerns wants to make sure other Wisconsin athletes are taking care of their physical and mental health. We'll share his story on News 3 Now this morning. It is 6:38 and time for My Morning. We've got a good one for you. Joe Bradley posted this one on Facebook. Seen lots of these lately with this weather.
Right? And these are some of the smaller ones. Like I've seen humongous icicles hanging out there.
Talk about dangerous.
Yeah, watch out for all of those.
Look out. Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, what does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our social media pages, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please use that hashtag MyNews3Morning so we can find them and share our favorites.
A former Badgers linebacker is finding there is life outside of football. Chris Borland abruptly retired after playing just 1 year with the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL over concerns about concussions. Now he partners with UW-Madison Center for Healthy Minds to improve the mental well-being of athletes. Borland was back in Madison last night for a conversation at the Alumni Association talking about a mindfulness and meditation program they developed for former NFL players and college athletes. Borland says the practice can make a real difference in things like pain management, focus, and resiliency, which can come in handy for anyone.
It isn't a cult, it's not religion. These are breath exercises like athletes lift weights, and it helps your mind. And so the benefits hopefully are universal, and athletes can serve as a good example of that.
UW-Madison is one of the pioneers in studying meditation and its effects on the brain.
And for families made up of Packers fans, tickets go on sale today for the annual tailgate tour. It starts in Marshfield on April 9th with stops in Sparta, New Richmond, and Chippewa Falls. We know all of those locations are a little far to go, but Packers alumni like Nick Barnett and Earl Dotson will be there along with the current franchise president, Mark Murphy. This all happens alongside the bus you're seeing right there, the custom coach. And each party benefits a nonprofit in the host city. Tickets go on sale at 8 o'clock this morning. General admission is $10. The full-out experience with giveaways and autographs will cost you $40. You can find out more over on Packers.com. All right, here we go again. Seems to be the constant message coming from the News 3 Now weather office. It begs the reminder again that we should not blame the messenger when she's talking about snow, sleet, rain, and ice for the weekend. Hattie's in next with a heads up on all of that.
Poor Hattie. But first, it is 2/22. We want to say happy birthday to you. Ready for this list? Adeline, Anna, Gabby, Michael, Preston, Tyson, all of the other kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 Now this morning.
All right, you're taking a live look this morning. Oh, we had it up there at the finish line of the Birkebeiner races up in Hayward. You're at least seeing the information here. Tens of thousands of people from around the world will soon be crossing that finish line. It is the biggest cross-country skiing event on the continent, Josh.
Yeah, more than 13,000 skiers from 23 countries are expected to take part.
There
There's our live
it
look.
is.
That's on top of 30,000 spectators or so that are set up along that 50-kilometer route. The festivities run through the weekend, and the Birkie was canceled for just the second time in the race's history a couple of years ago due to that lack of snow.
Yeah, don't think that's going to be a problem this year, right, Hattie?
No, they don't even know what to do with all the snow that they have in northern Wisconsin, setting records all over the place with snowfall this year, especially for the month of February. Let's take a look, though, at what's happening around here. Winter weather advisories will go into effect for most of the area overnight tonight into early Saturday morning. Alert days are in the forecast for this upcoming storm late tonight into Saturday for the potential for up to 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. Then we transition to milder conditions with some rain on Saturday and a little bit of light snow Sunday morning, turning very windy, though, on Sunday. I think the winds more than the snow will be the main weather story on Sunday. So here's a look at your future track forecast model. We'll time it out starting midnight tonight. Again, quiet across the area, that easterly wind really preventing the snow and mixed precipitation from moving in too early. But by the time we get to tomorrow morning, we're likely going to see freezing rain for a good part of the area, maybe snow north of the Dells. Some accumulation is possible before that rain snow line lifts north of our area. The rain may let up for a time this afternoon. Again, this forecast model hinting at some lighter rain, drizzle, maybe even some fog through the midday hours. Temperatures, though, climbing well into the 30s, so rain is expected through the evening. Now, overnight, tomorrow night into Sunday morning, it changes back to a little bit of snow with very strong northwesterly winds and falling temperatures through the day on Sunday. So let's take a look at some of those accumulations. As far as ice is concerned, again, we could see more than 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation in some spots, up to 1/4 of an inch possible. Then as we head to the day on Saturday, our focus shifts towards rain, and we'll see those numbers really climb through the day on Saturday. Over 1 inch of rain is possible in some areas, especially to the west. Also a little bit of snow with this particular system, but it looks like the heaviest bands of snow will be to our north and west. Snow accumulation across southern Wisconsin generally expected to be pretty light. Now, here's a live look this morning from the WISC-TV sky cam. You can see a little bit of high-level cloudiness moving into the area, and that'll be the case through the day today. If you do see any clouds, they'll be the mid and high-level variety. Temperatures under that cloud cover to the west are in the teens, still 7, though, here in Madison. Winds are calm, though, so we don't need to worry about a wind chill this morning. Here's a look at your temperature trend through the day today. Again, we're climbing through the 20s pretty quickly, back into the mid-30s this afternoon. That extended forecast has temperatures that will cool down behind this particular system. Saturday and Sunday are alert days. Then it just turns cold next week. There is a chance for some light snow Tuesday into Wednesday. Otherwise, highs only in the teens for the upcoming weekend. I know.
Yep.
Look at this guy. He doesn't care.
Yep.
Not impressed.
Man, I sympathize or empathize with Copper so much.
That's the best option for this kind of weather.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning.
6:50 time now for the morning sprint. Christina Laurie has a warning for parents about the latest social media challenge that could put your kids in danger.
And Hattie's keeping an eye on another storm that'll bring ice, snow, rain, the whole works. That winter system will affect most of the country this weekend. Las Vegas has actually seen snow as part of that system and still has a winter storm warning in effect. Meanwhile, tornadoes and flash flooding will be a concern this weekend in the southeast, and blizzard conditions could affect the upper Midwest.
Brings some messy mixture of precipitation to the area early tomorrow morning. This morning, we're looking at just some high-level clouds spilling into the region. A pretty mild day ahead, though. Temperatures climbing into the low to mid-30s this afternoon. Partly sunny skies expected today. Again, that snow and mixed precipitation arise overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. There could be some light ice accumulations across the area, up to 1/4 inch.
Thank you very much, Hattie. That ice and snow this weekend will just pile on to what we already have, and that's leading to concerns about spring flooding once it all melts. New data from the National Weather Service shows we are at historically high conditions, primed for flooding once the snowpack melts. That's due to our wet fall and deep frost and that big snowpack. Flooding from the snow melt is not a guarantee, but it is possible if we see a fast melt and more rain.
Governor Tony Evers is rolling out his plan to spend nearly $28 million to expand access to health programs for women. The governor's Healthy Women, Healthy Babies initiative will be a part of his budget proposal. It focuses on boosting postpartum coverage for mothers insured by Medicaid and increasing grants to address health disparities. It would also include restoring funding for Planned Parenthood, which is drawing criticism from Republicans who say they won't spend another dime on that organization.
Governor Evers is also expected to include a minimum wage increase in his budget proposal. He told reporters last week the amount's still under consideration. Meanwhile, Illinois is set to be the first state in the region to raise minimum wage to $15 statewide. Workers there have had a minimum wage of $8.25 an hour since 2010. Wisconsin's minimum wage is currently $7.25 an hour.
Special counsel Robert Mueller could finish his Russia investigation and hand in the report to the Justice Department as soon as today. CBS News says the investigation is winding down, and if the report isn't finished by today, it will be complete by mid-March at the latest. Mueller also faces a deadline to file a sentencing recommendation for former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort today. The document could include several details that have yet to be publicly released.
Meanwhile, President Trump will meet with top Chinese officials at the White House today, where trade is topping the agenda. We are just a week away from the deadline the president originally set to reach a trade deal before the U.S. imposes higher tariffs on $250 billion worth of Chinese imports. Now, those taxes would go from 10% to 25%, which would likely be met with retaliatory tariffs on American-made products.
Officials in North Carolina are taking the unusual step of calling for a do-over in the controversial election for its 9th congressional district. A new election for the seat will be held after an investigation into voter fraud accusations. Republican Mark Harris beat Democrat Dan McCready by 905 votes last November, but the race was never certified. A political operative is believed to have orchestrated an absentee ballot scheme to sway the election in favor of Harris.
Actor Jussie Smollett is out on bond this morning and continues to say he is innocent. The star, known for his role on the show Empire, is accused of staging an attack on himself. Police say Smollett was upset about a contract deal with that show and paid two brothers to fake a racist and homophobic assault to generate publicity. Smollett's lawyers say the system wants to skip due process for their client and go directly to sentencing. If convicted, Smollett could spend up to 3 years in prison.
Madison police say 3 people are being held on burglary charges after trying to steal copper wire from a West Side construction site. Officers responded to the 4700 block of Crestwood Lane around 10:30 Wednesday night. That's where alarms were going off in an apartment building under construction. The project manager was able to watch surveillance video and see a white van circling the site. At least one person was caught on camera going inside the gated area. Police found a woman hiding with a walkie-talkie and used that to get a hold of the other suspects.
Almost a year after an explosion at a Beaver Dam apartment complex, authorities say they still don't know why one of those residents was making bombs there. Police say Benjamin Murrow died when the explosives he was making accidentally detonated inside his apartment on March 5th last year. Newly released documents show Murrow made references to the mass shooting at a Parkland, Florida high school, hinting to some of his coworkers that something similar could happen there. However, police say they still don't know for sure why Murrow was building explosives or what exactly he was planning to do with them.
A Madison man accused of building bombs and allegedly planning an attack on the UW campus is set to be sentenced today. Brian Campbell pleaded not guilty in February to charges of second-degree reckless endangerment and possession of improvised explosives. Documents made public this week show Campbell searched the internet for bomb-making instructions and had maps of tunnels on the university's campus.
A new internet challenge is making its way across the country, and although it's not in our area yet, officials here warn it might soon be. It's called the 48-hour challenge, and it encourages teens to vanish for up to 2 days at a time. They get points for every social media mention they get while they're missing. Now, the Dane County Sheriff's Department says there haven't been any reports in our area yet, but they won't be surprised if the fad catches on. They hope by putting this message out there, anybody who's thinking about participating will understand they're taking away valuable resources from law enforcement and making a really bad decision.
Thank you, Christina. Madison students could soon face random metal detector screenings in school. The district is considering that after ongoing safety concerns and a shooting around La Follette High School last fall. Under the proposal, staff would be able to wand students down if they felt it was necessary. Madison police would be contacted if a weapon is found. The school board could adopt that proposal on Monday.
It is almost 6:57 on this Friday morning. Let's get one more check on traffic with Josh Tim. Hi, Josh.
The Beltline, nothing to slow you down yet in either direction, although that westbound side is picking up between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. Inbound John Nolan tapping the brakes at Rimrock and Olin Avenue, adding a couple minutes into the downtown Madison area. And other main routes heading into the city, they're cruising along with the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And a pretty nice day today. You can see a little color in the sky behind the Capitol this morning from our Edgewater Sky Cam. Our day planner temperatures take us into the mid-30s. We'll see some high-level clouds in the area today, so we'll call it partly sunny skies. Then again tonight, that's when all the weather starts to move in. Could be a little slippery tomorrow morning.
All right, and Chris and I will be in tomorrow morning with the very latest. In the meantime, make it a great day and have a wonderful weekend.